everyone, Diane here, welcome to my studio. Today I'm going to paint a 15-minute quick landscape with you, and just to prove that it is possible to paint a Christmassy landscape, complete landscape in such a short period of time. And I'm going to be using my Kuretake paints. Just let me move them over a bit so you can see them here. What am I going to be starting? Actually, I'll take that out of there because that's the other set. So we'll need some greens for the trees and some blues and pinks for the sky. So I'm painting on Meeden hot pressed paper, but any watercolor paper will do for this. This is just what happens to be my favorite at the moment, and I heartily recommend it. If you go to the Meeden website and when you buy this paper, you put Diane 10 into the, into the code box, you'll get 10% off. And that's a permanent thing that we have going with Meeden for all of their products. So that's really nice. Okay, so I'm using one of my brushes here, it's a Craftamo size 14 round. And I'm just going to pick up a little bit of, probably could do with cleaning this a little smidgen of water on here just to get rid of some of that mess. Not difficult to clean a plastic tray like that, and that's quickly done. Okay, we won't count this in the 15 minutes, will we? So we'll pick up some of this turquoisey colour, I think, and maybe add a little bit of ultramarine to it, perhaps, just a tiny bit, to make it a little bit bluer. And then we're going to pop some blue right at the top of the sky here, and just smush it in like that. And then rinse your brush off and pick up some pink, whatever pink you think. And then let's put some pink in, and that's kind of like the light, you know. And then we'll go from pink to a sort of not exactly orange, but more of a yellowy pink. And we'll just bring that down, and that's basically the background. And it doesn't look like there's very much colour there because basically there isn't. But that's fine. So now we'll mix the pink and the blue together to make kind of grey. And we'll just put a little bit of shadow in the front here, which is where the footpath is going to be. And then the longest period of time that you're going to have to spend on this painting is waiting for it to dry. So we're going to dry that and come back in a second or two. In the meantime, I just wanted to show you these ornaments that I've made here using that technique with the stamping of the jar. I've painted them on both sides, and then I've made a hole, cut them out, made a hole, and they can be hung from the Christmas tree, or you can use them as a gift tag. And I think they're rather cute. If you don't paint on the back, you could write your greeting on that side and just hang it from from your gift. Or if you have animals, you know, cats or children who are likely to pull Christmas tree over, this might be one year. We did this one year when our children were little. We knitted ornaments for the tree and made them out of paper as well, so that if they did happen to pull the tree over, it didn't crash, bang, wallop kind of thing. So yes, just a thought there. Now, what was I going to say next? Okay, I'm going to turn you off and dry this off nice and no, I'm not. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to paint the trees in the background. So we'll make it a little bit more grey, a little bit of grey here. And the Kuretake Art Nouveau has a nice grey, which when you mix it with blue is a lovely colour. And I'm just going to sit on the cat for a minute, and I'm just going to paint in some trees. Don't be afraid of letting the water sort of pool on the paper, it doesn't matter. And we'll just put some distant trees in here and let them sort of, run a little bit. a little bit too much there. Just, you know, as I say, don't be afraid to let the paint do its thing, but you can always dab it out if you're not happy. But this is quite a nice grey colour that you get. And you just want it sort of misty in the distance, you know. So we just do that, and we're not going to take too much time over it because, you know, we've got a deadline here. I'm going to put a little bit more of that colour in the front here for there's a path, you see, going into the distance. And we'll take that up a little bit further just because. And then over here, I don't need to dry it because, funnily enough, this paper dries really quite quickly. I'm going to paint the tree. So we'll mix a little bit of light green. And so I'm going to start off just growing the tree down with this light green and then add a little bit more darker green as we go down. And this is where your personality can shine through and your tree becomes yours, you know. And then we want some darker green, so I'm going to go to Forrest Gump and grey him down a little bit because this is meant to be a misty grey kind of thing. So we just drop in some darker shadows, willy-nilly, ad hoc, like that. And we're going to let that, you know, shmush. Clean my brush. You notice I'm only using one brush, the size 14, doesn't have to be a small brush. And then I'm going to take the grey again and add a little bit of burnt sienna to it to make it into a soft brown. And then we'll put a few fence posts in here. And just then perhaps go back to green and just put some, you know, grasses and things growing out the bottom of the fence posts. And then we can do the wire. We can just do that by scratching in. So if I get myself a dip pen or a stick would do. A little stick, maybe one which I've sharpened a bit more. Yeah, so I think this will work. There we go. A nice fine line. You couldn't really do better than that. You really couldn't actually do much better than that. And we can put another couple in the distance there. That's okay, isn't it? And our grasses we can sort of do this with too. And then we go back to our tree. It's run a bit there, but doesn't matter. Go back to the tree and find some nice dark green. And drop in some darker green. And I don't know what I'm going to put here. Oh, I do know what I'm going to put there. I'm going to put in some berries. So we'll pick up some red, some nice bright red, and we'll make that a little bit darker with a tiny bit of black. Not that much black. Yes, so we're going to put some berries in here. And then we're going to join them up using a pen. And then maybe we'll do some spatter to make it a little bit more, what's the word, loose, like that, perhaps. And then I'm going to go to white, and I'll use a slightly smaller brush for the white just to be more economical. And we'll put some nice, thick white paint on the tree. And now we have to wait for it to dry and we can come back and do the final details. So I'm going to pick up some nice dark green now and just come back to my tree and improve the shape by adding some darks, sort of willy-nilly ad hoc. More down towards the bottom. There we are. And then it probably needs a little bit of shadow underneath. And then we need a little bit over here, shadow. Maybe add a little bit more here too. And then probably, I think, to give it a little bit of life, we probably want a few birds in the sky. We have a lot of starlings at the moment and they're flocking in, doing their thing, something like that. And we can add a little bit of sharpening up to the posts using our Kuretake pen, if we want to, just a little bit. And a few more bits of grass here. I think probably use a paintbrush for that. And just a bit more here. Make it look a bit more complete. Just perhaps a little bit more in the background so it doesn't look completely unconnected, but not too much. And then we'll come back to the snow. I'm using P.H. Martin's bleed proof white for the snow. Okay, and a bit of snow on top of these. But the whole thing looks pretty snowy, I think. Just soften that line up a little bit there. A bit more snow here. La-di-da-di-da. And I think that's about it, really. Yeah. Okay, I don't know how long that took. I'm going to check the time in a minute. But I don't think it was much more than 15 minutes. So there we are, a landscape in 15 minutes for a card. I hope you enjoyed that. And I will see you again tomorrow. Bye for now, everybody. Bye-bye.